Joining us by Skype is Todd Nettleton of the Voice of the Martyrs. Todd, we know that some U.S. American Christian leaders have sent a letter to Congress critical of the administration's policy towards Iran. They would like to see tougher sanctions against that country. What else are we hearing from the Christian leaders? What are their concerns?
Well, the concern that we have here at Voice of the Martyrs and other Christians here in the United States is the status of our Christian brothers and sisters in Iran. They are being arrested, they're being interrogated, in many cases they're being tortured, simply because they are followers of Jesus Christ. And for a Muslim in Iran, there is no other choice than to continue being a Muslim. They simply don't have the freedom to say, okay, I want to follow a different path. I want to follow Jesus.
And Todd, we have followed closely the case of two women who are former Muslims who converted to Christianity. They're now in the notorious Evin prison in Tehran. Tell us, what's the latest on them?
Well, the latest is that their health is not good. They were arrested in March, so they are coming up on 6 months in Evin prison in Iran. They had a court hearing in August where they very boldly defended their faith in Jesus Christ. They said clearly, we will not deny our faith. We love Jesus. They were sent back to Evin prison. The judge actually said, we're going to send you back to prison so you can think about it. And they said, we've already done our thinking. So they went back to the jail. The latest we hear is that one of them, Marzieh, has a tooth infection. They are treating the pain of that, but they're not treating the infection. And there's some real concern that that could spread and cause even more health difficulties for her.
What is likely to happen to these women?
It's hard to say what will happen. Obviously, the government is trying to put pressure on them to renounce their Christianity, to return to Islam. They are saying very clearly, we love Jesus, we will not renounce him. So it's kind of, I think, maybe a wait and see game on both sides. The government leaving them in prison, hoping they get sick enough or miserable enough that they'll renounce their faith. Them in the prison hoping that somehow some pressure can be brought to bear that could result in them being released. But right now it's hard to say how long this could go on or what the next steps are.
So let's see, these two women are sitting in prison, and Ahmadinejad is in New York at the UN, where he's being welcomed by some of the delegates there. What do Christians in Iran think about this?
Well, you know, it's very interesting because if he chose to go to a mosque in New York, he would have no trouble doing that. If he chose to go to a church in New York, he would have no trouble doing that. But Iranian believers don't have that same freedom. They cannot simply go to church and worship as they see fit. So hopefully someone along the way, while President Ahmadinejad is in New York, will point out the religious freedom that he enjoys being in the United States, and perhaps he could increase the level of religious freedom for non-Muslims in Iran.
Our viewers often want to know, what can they do? So Todd, what can they do for Christians who are suffering under this regime in Iran?
Well, the first thing that we can do is pray. We need to pray for the church in Iran. The great news is the church is growing at a phenomenal rate. That's why the Iranian government is so nervous and so upset, because so many Muslims are choosing to follow Christ. So pray for the church, pray for those who are facing persecution. A second very practical thing that people can do is write letters. We have Miriam and Marzieh on our website, prisoneralert.com. People can go on the site, write a letter to them, and it will be translated into Farsi. You print it out off your printer and put it in the mail to them. These letters do make a difference. There's also a link on Prisoner Alert to send an email to President Ahmadinejad's office and simply say, Christians are not a threat to your government. Please grant them more freedom. Please grant the release of those who are being held in prison.
And I'm sure there are Americans who would like to